Hello, my name is Bertrand, and welcome to another episode of PowerEdge Soundbytes. Welcome back. Today I'm joined by Dave Odell. Dave, thanks for coming again. You are actually the first time that I've got a returning person on this podcast, so thank you very much.
I'm like a zombie. I'm a generative AI zombie. I keep coming back.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly
Can't be
it. So,
killed.
um, Dave, we recorded a video a while ago with the first version of the demo that you're going to show us. But for people that haven't seen that video, can you just do a quick intro?
Sure. Yeah. So my name's David Odell, and I work for Dell's um, now data solutions and AI team. The name has changed, but it's basically the AI team. So I'm a technical marketing engineer, and what our job is to do is to bring infrastructure and software and solutions together into demos and proof of concept POCs, so that the end customer can kind of kick the tires and learn above all and experience some of the best the industry has to offer, and that's Dell solutions on in data center and all the way down to the laptops. So
Exactly. So in our previous conversation, you had just published an awesome white paper on RAG and what RAG was and the various components of RAG and how to put everything together. And you had built a demo to go with that white paper.
mhm.
And since then, you and I have chatted a couple of weeks ago, and you've kind of showed me a new version of the demo, and I'm like, whoa, there's so much goodness in there that I thought it'd be absolutely awesome to record an updated version of the demo. So why don't you walk us through some of the changes that you've made, and then take it away and walk us through the demo.
Yeah, sure. Let me share my screen.
Yeah.
And so what we've got is the original chatbot. Again, this is not something you're going to deploy into production. This again is a POC. It's a demo. This is
Yep.
for education purposes only, and all those other disclaimers. But the one that I created, there are similar ones out there, but I tried to put together lots of different features as I was looking into Gen AI chatbots and PDF chatbots specifically, and the tools you needed. I kept seeing, well, this one uses this feature and this one uses that feature. And so I kind of combined more and more features into one that became kind of a Swiss Army knife. It does lots of things.
Yep.
Best part about it is that it allows you, the operator or the experimenter or the data scientist, to do lots of experimentation. And I'll show you how. So we understand, just let's back up real quick. Let's just take a real quick overview of what RAG is again. I like to explain that because the software and in the notebook touches each point of this. So what we're taking is a PDF data set in this chunk right here. We are encoding it into a vector database. We're using ChromaDB because it's very tiny. It's on-prem as well, and it's accelerated. LangChain is our orchestrator that brings everything together. So we take our user prompt, LangChain takes that prompt, goes back to the vector database, does a lookup, pulls the most relevant documents out, gathers those, and then it ranks them, gives it kind of a score, which one of these chunks is most relevant to the user prompt, and then it hits the LLM. So the beauty of RAG is that there's no training going on. There's no fine tuning. Your LLM is free, off the shelf. We're using Llama in this case for commercial use, essentially. There's lots of other models out there, but with RAG, it allows you to use an off-the-shelf model and let that LLM speak to your data, literally. It gives your data a voice. So very, very cool use case. Doesn't require the large infrastructure that, say, training and building a model from scratch would use. So again, very compelling for a lot of companies out there because they have these data sets, these domain-specific knowledge bases or something or another, that they want to utilize. Anyhow,
And
So
that's what that's what I like about, that's part of the reason why I'm so passionate about RAG is um when we look at some of the challenges that we have. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to sell 9680 XE9680s all day long, but does everybody needs an XE9680? And the answer is no, because if you're using RAG to, as you said, give a voice to your data, then an R760XA with some L40S cards
right.
is way more than you'll need
Yeah,
to get adequate performance. And so, again, while I would love to sell 9680s all day long, it's about using the right tool for the right purpose.
exactly. Yep, that's exactly right. And yeah. So what we're doing is, again, this is kind of your standard chatbot. This code is available in our Dell examples GitHub, which I'll show
Yeah, I'll
that.
put the link in the description. I'll
Great,
put
yeah. So you can download this exact file from GitHub. Anyhow, so I'll get into the code here in a little bit because this is the main function that kind of controls everything. But what it is you end up creating a Gradio front end to your Llama chatbot, and it's able to access these PDF files that I put in. And I think there's 100 PDF files of Dell white papers and stuff. Very typical of what a regular company would have.
Yep.
So this particular chatbot, it does exactly what the old version did. It's got some quick buttons where you can just instantly load a prompt in. Let's see, can you give me, so this white paper here, can you give me a detailed summary of the document, blah, blah, blah. And we can go and it'll summarize a 19-page white paper, which is something it's kind of daunting for most people to do in a couple of hours. But
Yep.
this did
Totally.
it, I don't know if you saw that, but it did it in 7 seconds.
Yep.
7 seconds. So the time savings and the productivity boost you could get by implementing something like this, not sticking a chatbot in front of somebody, but some sort of system where you could save an enormous amount of time. I mean, it's astronomical the amount of time you could save. So 19,
Absolutely.
yeah, it still blows my mind. That's why I like tinkering with this stuff because it does phenomenal tricks, does cool stuff. Um,
I like the stuff that you've done at the bottom, though. It's some of the really cool stuff that you've implemented.
yes, so you've got your quick button prompts, and these are just create some documentation or create an email or create some tweets or something. But here's the cool part is where you can start experimenting is you click on the additional inputs. And now you've got all your parameter, you've got full model parameter sliders here where you can tweak, your max tokens, you can tweak the temperature, the creativity, you can tweak all kinds of these things instantly. But one of the really cool things is that what I specifically coded into this was you can change the system prompt at will. And
And
most often system prompts are hard coded. And
yes.
this one I'm augmenting the system prompt with a variable right here that you can change with each one. So we can change the persona. We can change the attitude. We can do all kinds of things with the system prompt because the system prompt gives your prompt an overall behavior and tone and some guardrails, or take the guardrails off. So
And when you
it
showed it to me, that prompt is really what blew my mind. Uh, there was a reason for that. The reason why I was so excited and why I wanted to record this additional video is that when we talk about prompt engineering, it's folks out there really struggle, I find, with prompt engineering.
it's tough.
And
It's,
to
it's
understand
yeah.
what prompt is and how it changes the behavior of the LLM. To me, having a chatbot demo where I can ask the same question, but change the prompt and see how my answer is going to differ. That to me is there is so much goodness and so much value out there for our customers that are starting to tinker with those things.
Yeah.
That really is what got me super excited about this.
Yeah, it performs very well. This is not going to perform perfectly because I'm one guy and this is very, very
It's a
stripped down.
POC.
but it performs pretty good. You know, it'll get
Yeah,
you 99%, 90 or 95% of what you want it to do, it'll do, and it's kind of shocking and fun.
yeah.
And you learn a lot because, again, prompt engineering is kind of the unsung hero of generative AI. Without it, you will have horrible performance that you'll just throw it away. You won't make the investment. But yet, if you spend time doing it, you'll realize and you'll open up the power of these LLMs because they have superpowers. You just need to know how to access them.
Well, and I think again, without prompt engineering, you might not get the answers that you're looking for out of your LLM, and it's not because you've chosen necessarily the wrong LLM. It's
Right.
because you haven't set that LLM up for success, and prompt is the
Couldn't
way that we set it up for success. And but testing prompts is hard. I mean, I've
yeah.
tried it, and it is not an easy thing. And so having it as a variable there, where, as I said, I can ask the exact same question, change your prompt completely, and see the difference of answers that I'm gonna get, that's money. That's so powerful.
It helps, yeah. And again, what you mentioned, setting up the LLM for success, that's huge. And yeah, and you're only going to get that from experimenting. And
Yep.
you can't use OpenAI as your comparison. You just can't because a lot of companies that are going to move these models on-prem, they don't want to go via API over the internet with their data to chat with Open API with OpenAI or ChatGPT, sorry, I should say.
Yep.
They don't want to do that. So using ChatGPT as a comparison by like experimenting with that, oh well, I know this LLM work on-prem because something worked on ChatGPT. Totally different. You have to test it with the model you're using on-prem. And this is a great little platform that you can use, to get started.
Totally.
Um,
Love it.
yeah, so yeah. But yeah, so I have kind of a script that I've gone through here, and what I did want to mention really quick is the part that was probably the most difficult. And again, I didn't write all of this code. I cobbled together a bunch of different things. There was a Hugging Face example that I used as the basis of this, but here's where you're taking the Llama 2 prompt template and you are adding that system prompt into it. So this
Mhm.
this is the variable that I'm augmenting the system prompt with. And that's where you get that power. That's where you can change the whole persona. And your prompt is up here, but now you can change the actual guardrails and the behavior of it. So you can ask it a variety of different ways to get it right. Anyway, however you want it to perform. Let's see. Now we can do, let's see. Let's just go through some of these. So I can create, I can document the process. Now, my persona now is a technical research assistant, and it does this in the English language. My audience appreciates technical details. Da, 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 da. So let's document the process. Something that it'll be able to do very well is create a process of steps. And this would be for somebody who doesn't know how to do something. So this would be
Mhm.
great on the front line of internal tech support that I'm going to have to show a customer how to do this. So I need to know how to do it because I haven't
Yep.
done it before.
Yep.
So an uninformed but yet smart technical person. So does very well. But now let's see. So down here, I've got some sort of marketing or sales style questions. So we can change this to you are a marketing, wait, let's see, a marketing and advertising copywriter. And I want to, let's see, I can create this one. So this is kind of selling stuff. So we can hit on this one. That's fine.
Yep.
Go here. So we're gonna have a little bit of different, like not a vastly different set of vocabulary that's gonna use, but it will use, now that it's assuming this role, it will try to be more persuasive. And so it's creating quite a bit. And let's see if we can pick out some like specific language. Um, I don't know if I can pick out anything that's specific that would be, this is marketing or advertising, but it
Well,
does a really good job.
I think just, when I look at the executive summary, if you scroll back up, I look at the executive summary, just the fact that it says, the overall value proposition, that is a very salesy, that's a
Yeah,
very
that wouldn't be
salesy
somebody
language. That
who's,
is
you're right.
not
Yeah,
something that a technical writer would, or that a
correct.
technical person would necessarily talk about.
True.
That's very marketing like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, and that's just one of those ways to tap into that kind of vocabulary that these large models like Llama, um, gosh, of
Mixtral.
course, ChatGPT, Mistral, yeah, for sure, Mistral. They've been exposed to the internet essentially, so they have general knowledge of all kinds of different vocabularies. And so for them making, shifting gears from sales to marketing to technical to security expert is not that difficult, assuming it has the data to back it up with.
Mm-hmm.
So let's stick with that because we're going to continue doing ads. And again, this took what, 20 seconds? This would
Something
have
like that,
taken
yeah.
this would have taken hours, to go gather the information from our data set and input it into good, nice language. All I need to do as the representative is kind of come in and edit things and just make sure things are true because LLMs do make things up on occasion.
Sometimes.
So they do need a human in the loop. But let's create an ad. I always like these. It's for fun. So say create a new ad for Dell. PowerEdge servers include an interesting headline or product description. You want to persuade the target audience. And this is definitely sales. Unleash the full
That
potential
is,
of your
yep.
data
That's
center. Yeah,
marketing
so sorry,
101.
not sales, marketing, I should say, marketing and advertising language. Are you tired of slow performing servers hindering your organization's ability? Da, 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 da. So it's very, very adept at using that different kind of vocabulary and that persona. So let's change the persona. I kind of like this. I've got let's see, I have some of these already loaded up. All right. This one's kind of fun.
Another aspect of this that I really like, that is again kind of hard to always play with, which is the creativity or the temperature.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, we can
seeing the
definitely.
effect of
Mhm.
turning the temperature up or down is tricky when you're experimenting, and again, you can do it, but you got to get deep into the LLM and you got to get deep into Python in order to make that happen. So you creating those sliders, again, I can ask the exact same question, turn the creativity way up or way
Mhm.
down, and totally see the different answers I'm gonna get. So as a researcher, as somebody who wants to, or as somebody who wants to kind of get more familiar with LLM and the various parameters of LLM and all of this, that demo, that POC is it's just so important. There is so much value there without having to go deep into Python, without having to go deep into LangChain, without having to go deep into LLMs.
Well, you don't have to reload it every time you want to change a variable. You just come in and swap it around. But yeah, so again, a lot of this is based on this Hugging Face thing. So
Mhm.
these are those variables that you bring in. So every time you prompt it, every time you click submit, it sends that army of variables to this function here. And this function distributes them, puts them in the right place. So here they are right here. Here's your Hugging Face pipeline. You're setting up a pipeline
Yep.
for Hugging Face to use to connect the LLM to your LangChain query.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, and you can see this is where they've all. I don't have anything hard coded here because they're all being done by the sliders.
Cool.
And all credit to Hugging Face who came out with this. I've just been applying this stuff. And this is your query chain here, and this
Yep.
is where you actually bring the vector store and the LLM together with your prompt. And you can see that. There's your prompt, there's your vector store, and there's your LLM. All three things all in one, all chained together. It's pretty awesome.
And that's the value that LangChain brings to this, is that it creates that glue between the various components so that the data flows between one to the other without you having to code all of that. It's all built in.
Yeah, I don't know any other way because I'm so new to this that I'm sure people have done this hard coding it, maybe last
Yep.
year before LangChain was popular. They probably hard coded that. And I don't know any tutorials or any backend code that shows that. So I'm very grateful for LangChain. Um, but if you do use this one and you want to see the raw output, you just go to your notebook here. So all the raw output is available here. So, and you can
Cool.
see that it's delivering the source documents in the raw output. I don't have it in the front end yet. But it's these anyhow. So there's code in here to show you the source documents. I just haven't floated it up to the front end yet. That's like version next year or something. But I'm sure it's very feasible. I just haven't had time. So I put in a new persona. This one I think is kind of fun. It says, "You're Coach Roberts, a high school football coach. Please respond in sports style language. Easy to do because we're able to tap into those different vocabularies. Your favorite team is the Dallas Cowboys. I'm from Texas, so it's our
Yep.
team. Feel free to talk about your favorite team in the conversation." So I'm expecting the Dallas Cowboys to be mentioned in this conversation because I'm kind of putting that guardrail that not really a guardrail, but I'm forcing it to do that.
Hmm.
And let's turn up the creativity. So lower creativity, lower temperature actually squeezes the histogram of probabilities where you can get new tokens from. As you increase the temperature, you're increasing the width of the histogram where you can choose all your different probable tokens. So we're going to by
Crank it
increasing
up.
the temperature, we're spreading out the possibilities. So, and what that means is that it can choose from a wide variety of tokens, words,
Yep.
rather than a very thin, low temperature, I guess, group of possibilities, which would be only a few words will work. Only the most probable words work. So we'll
Mhm.
crank that up and see what happens. We got to get a question. Let's see. I had something over here. Say hi. Let's say, right. Let's say hi to our coach first. All right. Let's say, "Hi, coach. Give me a high five." Let's see what it does. All right, freshman, get ready to crush out field fresh. Whatever. So this is where the temperature setting is hitting the wall. It's starting to
Mhm.
make up words. And you can
Yep.
see here, it's making up all kinds of, "Yo, buddy, scoring major yards already. Keep grinding and leveling. Da, 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 da." And if you turn the temperature down, it'll get a little bit more realistic. But let's just keep going, see what happens. It's already got the emojis and stuff, so
Yep.
so let's see. What can we ask them? I don't know. We'll see. What are some of the? Let's see what a football coach knows about Dell telecom industry.
That's gotta be interesting.
It's got to be pretty wild because the temperature
It's
is really
gotta be
high.
pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. So awesome. As the high school football coach, I'm eager to talk about Dell Solution. Of course you are. Uniquely situated, local sport. Yeah, it's starting to mess up on spelling and stuff. And
Yep.
yeah. So again, that's directly from the temperature. And now if we bring it down to a reasonable level, like I think I have it tuned here at like 6, and we can retry. And here's a button I love is retry. And that comes with Gradio. So if you use a Gradio interface, you can get these fancy and handy buttons. They're great for experimenting.
Well, yeah, exactly. Because now you just turn the temperature way down, the creativity way down, and you can retry right away. You don't have to
Yeah.
go through anything to retry it. So yeah.
Yeah. And you can see it's totally changed. So there's
Yep.
no that temperature setting has made its impact. I've got a coach sounds like he should work for Dell now instead of teaching high school. He's got another night job maybe. So yeah, let's hire this guy. And here you go.
Exactly.
Now go out there and crush it, just like a receiver running a touchdown pass. So again, these are LLMs are really fun to play with, but they can really increase productivity. They can do some amazing things. We have not hit the edge of what they can do. This
Yeah.
is just the beginning, and this POC is a great way for a company to just kick the tires and get it set. Let's take a look at the
One one final question I've got for you,
mhm.
and that is, so if I'm a customer and I'm seeing this and I'm like, whoa, this is cool. I wanna, I'm gonna clone the repo and I'm gonna run this. what kind of hardware do I need to run something like this? I mean, do I
Sure.
need 9680 with eight
No,
H100 GPUs, or
no,
can I
no.
run it on a pretty beefy laptop with a separate GPU?
Yeah, so I just shipped out today a Dell mobile workstation. So it's a laptop. It's a precision laptop. It's
Yep.
a 7780, I think, with an NVIDIA RTX 5000. So it's a modest size GPU, but
Mm-hmm.
pretty big for a laptop. So it's a
Yeah.
16 gig 16 gig VRAM in this GPU. And you can load this on there. Now I've got a 4-bit version that works a lot better. It fits easier. This
Of
one, you may
course.
hit an out of memory issue with it, but it'll load. But as you use it, it's going to chew up more memory as the conversations get bigger and bigger. But yeah, you can put this in a laptop. You don't need a data center to do this. That's the beauty of it. So Dell has the ability to put this in your data center, for sure.
Very much.
Um, yeah, on our lab that we're this like what I'm running right now is it's on a PowerEdge 760, but we didn't start off with that. We started running this on 15G PowerEdge. You can do 14G PowerEdge. You need at least a T4, which is a
Okay.
16 gigabyte data center GPU. So very common. Um, and but yeah, I just
But
wanted
yeah, the point I'm making is that, if you want to, quote unquote, try this at home,
yeah, you could.
you totally can. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
16 gig GPUs, even consumer grade 16 gig GPUs are fairly popular. They're fairly readily available. And so yeah, you don't need a super beefy server in order to play with this. And
No,
to
not at all. Yeah.
there's a ton of value there, because it increases the the potential population that can try this, and
Mhm.
that is really what I want to do, is I want to get this into the hands of as many people as possible.
Well, I'll go one further, and you weren't expecting this, but check this out. So I don't have a front end for this new notebook that I've got, but take a look.
Okay.
So what I've done is this particular chatbot was using a bunch of white papers as its data set. And they wanted to have a healthcare example. And so we're scratching our heads like, well, we need some healthcare data. Well, we don't have any healthcare data because healthcare data is very hard to get. Like
Yep.
we'll make some up. We'll create some synthetic data. So we created some synthetic data and put it into a CSV file. And now we're like, okay, we have this great data set. Now, how do we get our chatbot to interact with it? Because my only experience was PDF files, because that was just kind of the de facto tutorial that's so popular out there. But I have a background in AI, and I've worked with CSV files, JSON files, all kinds of pandas, data frames, all kinds of stuff. And so AI on this particular file type is no big deal, easy to do. But putting an LLM in front of it, that was something I hadn't done. And a lot of folks out there haven't done either, is how can my LLM talk to my structured data? So unstructured data is all around us. Newspaper,
Yep.
TV, video, audio, all that stuff is unstructured. And the LLMs eat it up. But how do I get it to talk to structured data? Now, structured data is very different. And the LLM
Yep.
needs some help, and it performs very differently. So after trial and error for about a week, I managed to get the combination that worked really well. I'm not the only person that did this, but I'm probably one of the few that's done enough experimenting with this that I figured that Mistral works really good with CSV files, the instruct model.
Mm-hmm.
So this
Yep.
particular notebook is using Mistral Instruct. It's this is the 4-bit version, but that's okay. Um, we could load the other one real quick, but anyway. So you can also download this particular file on the same GitHub repo. So what we'll do here is we will import this LangChain. This is kind of like the you've got LangChain, but now you have this LangChain experimental library, which has the LangChain CSV agent. And that's what we're using right here is blah, 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 blah. We're getting our model set up.
Yep.
There's a Mistral right there. And we're gonna squeeze it down to 4-bit because Mistral is kind of beefy. even the 7 billion parameter model. There's our pipeline again. And here's our agent right here. So we're bringing in the LLM, my data set, which is just a single CSV file. And the cool thing is that, is this running yet? All right, let's go ahead and run this. So I'm asking it, what is the procedure for patient 3? What's the date of discharge and length of stay for patient 21? What are the unique reasons for admission? Because lots of people have different reasons for admission, but I want only the unique ones. I want to cross-reference any charges with admission to determine the highest cost. So I want to bring 2 columns of that CSV together and answer questions. And here it goes. It's just going right through it. So it's on this one right here. Oh yeah. So the agent, LangChain agents, have a thought process. They actually query the LLM back and forth. So it's kind of asking itself a bunch of questions, which is really cool. So it says here, here's my thought. The question is, what's the procedure for patient 3? Here's my thought. I need to find the row for patient 3 because it knows it's a CSV file. And then issue this pandas Python code. And Mistral Instruct can understand that. Several other models can't. They can't connect that this is actual code that I have to execute, and it's Python, and it's pandas, and I should expect this this thing. So the procedure for patient 3 was antiviral meds. That's actually the right answer. So what was the date of discharge? Well, its thought process was blah, 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 blah. I mean, it gets very detailed. Use the indexing and slicing functionality of pandas. It's telling itself to do that. It's amazing.
That's so cool.
It's so cool to watch the thought processes of these things. So the date of discharge for patient 21 was 11/50/23. That's exactly right. And it was 18 days. So I looked up 2 different tables for that instantly. So I need to find the unique reasons. And there it goes. There are the unique reasons. And there's many other, many occurrences of this, but those are the unique ones. So cross-referencing. This one, it didn't do such a good job. So it's doing a query, kind of a complex. Look at how complex this query is.
That is, yeah.
I mean, I don't know that query. I'd have to go look up. I know what I want it to do, but then I'd have to go and like, man, how do you do this and that? And this instantly done. The only problem with this one, this is the 4-bit version, and it kind of fails. It actually summed everything up. So this is not the right answer. So you will hit some limitations if you degrade the performance and reduce its ability to be accurate, which is what you're doing by squeezing down to 4-bit.
Yeah, and that's always the problem with quantization. I mean, quantization is great because it allows you to run beefy LLM on a very small footprint, but that comes at the expense of accuracy.
Right, and this is the actual answers, 29,000 something, but it summed it up. But okay, that's fine. Check this out. It'll graph stuff for you. Natural language graphing. Natural language data visualization. Look at that. It's awesome.
This is
all I asked it to do. Yeah, I think the question was plot a pie chart of the number of procedures. That's it. And bloop, there you go. More than what I wanted. And so here's the next big thing in data science is that say goodbye to knowing SQL queries. You don't need to know them. Complex ones, you probably should know them, but for simple stuff like that, you're not going to need it anymore. You're gonna query data using natural language, and you're gonna have that data presented to you in kind of any way you want. You just have to tell it what to do, because now it has the ability to access, matplotlib and pandas and NumPy and all kinds of data science tools. Now you don't need to know the code behind it or the query. You just tell it, hey, I need a pie chart of this. And this is huge. I think this is going to open up or become part of our new future of interacting with data is using natural language to do it.
Totally. And I mean, I'm loving this. What I'm realizing though, David, is that we might have to do a number 3.
We can do it.
Once you get the demo fully done and everything, it sounds like we're gonna have to do a number 3 and start talking about and it's a topic has been at the front of my mind, and obviously you're working on it, which is agents. Because as
Yeah,
powerful
those are
as
tough.
RAG is,
Yeah.
I think we're gonna see especially with LangChain agents, I think we're gonna see something very, very powerful.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
is gonna open the possibility to some pretty crazy stuff where you can now aggregate data from, a Google search, from a CSV file, from your vector database, and from your large language as well, and have all of those data combined into one answer. And so I see a ton of value there, and I'm loving where you're going with this. And yeah, as I said, it sounds like we're gonna have to do a number three.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, we'll keep improving it. And this is that repo that I was talking about. So feel free to send people over here. They can
Yep.
download the CSV to LLM chat or the RAG chatbot. There's also lots of other things from some of our partners that we use as well. Some very nice code and compelling use cases for generative AI.
Cool. Awesome. David, thank you so much for taking your time to chat with me today. I'm loving the new demo. I think it's super powerful. Love the experimentation that it enables. And so yeah, so thank you very much for the time today. Really appreciate it.
Sure. Thanks again.
Thanks. Bye.
All right.